Hello, my name is Rebecca Peters. I forget how loud I am sometimes. I am an assistant in humanities. I teach film and culture, multicultural film here at the university. And I'm going to be Wednesday afternoons at 2 p.m. doing an introduction to Bollywood cinema. Bollywood is the world's largest film distribution in the world. It far surpasses Hollywood, which is surprising to most Americans. I'm going to do a brief survey, a little bit about Indian history and how it has affected the films. We're going to look at the dance, the music, the colors. Maybe I can get some of you up to do a little Bollywood dancing. All the films are in Hindi, however, they will all be subtitled. And unfortunately, I won't be able to show you an entire Bollywood film, but I will show you lots and lots of clips and music videos from the films, and we will have a great time and just really enjoy it and learn a lot about Bollywood. I'll have sort of a structure, but I'll also want to see what you guys are interested in and learning, and I will end with a sort of look at how this Indian film industry has influenced American films and English films. So I hope to see you guys there. We'll have a lot of fun. Oh, and I did bring some videos to show you. We'll start at Mother India, and we'll end with something that actually takes place in America, even though it is a Bollywood film, called My Name is Khan. So I hope to see you guys there. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Barbara Shoplock. I'm an FSU faculty member and director of the Saturday at the Sea programs run out of the FSU biology department. My partner in crime for the See Around You course is Doc Hernkind, and he is homesick today. That is only okay because then I can brag about him without embarrassing him. He's professor emeritus in the biology department, and he's very interested in lobster mating strategies. Most recently, he won the Tallahassee Scientific Society Distinguished Career Award. His passion is animal behavior, and his career's had him working with Jacques Cousteau and wrestling sharks in James Bond movies. So he's a very interesting sea creature indeed. It is my and Doc Hernkind's goal to introduce you to some of our watery neighbors, an astonishing cast of fascinating, bizarre creatures who call the salty depths their home. Class details, we have 3 lectures at the Claude Pepper on Mondays from 11:30 to 1:30 and 1 field trip. Field trip logistics, they operate out of the FSU Marine Lab, which is about 50 miles away. That's going to be a carpool with an early morning start. And 2 important things when scheduling a field trip in the fall here are the tides, very important, and also the FSU football schedule. So the few dates that we had to choose from, the date that is originally on the books was co-opted for the FSU Marine Lab for one of their regattas. So the date of October 12th is now going to be Sunday, October 6th. So that will be the date of the field trip. The field trip basically is going to be in the lab exploring organisms and also going on a pontoon boat, which is basically a floating living room. So if you're nervous about getting on the boat, you'll be okay. I'd leave you with 2 quotes. The first is from Rachel Carson. "Each time that I enter the sea, I gain new awareness of its beauty and deeper meanings, sensing the intricate fabric of life by which one creature is linked to another and each with its surroundings." And the second is an abbreviated one, which helps me in everyday dealings. "Some years ago, having little or no money in my purse and nothing particularly to interest me on shore, I thought I would sail a little and see the watery parts of the world. It is a way I have of regulating the circulation. Whenever I find myself growing grim about the mouth, whenever it is a damp, drizzly November in my soul, and especially whenever my hypos gets such an upper hand that it requires strong moral principle to prevent me from deliberately stepping into the street and methodically knocking people's hats off, I find it high time to get to the sea as soon as I can. Join us in going back to the sea for a bit, won't you? We promise not to call you Ishmael."
Buenos días. ¿Cómo están ustedes? So we do have some potential students here. Me llamo Laura Morris. Actually, it's Laura Maria Teresa Graciela González Santa Maria Morris. But I go by Laura. Anyway, my class is at Westminster Oaks on Thursdays. It's from 12 to 2, and we'll have 12 hours together. Okay? The class is good for people who have some working knowledge of Spanish, like you took it, 2 years in high school and don't remember anything, or picked it up along the way in Guatemala, whatever. So this class, we're going on to our next level. Actually, we started in the Maymester with our basic level, and my students were just amazed at how much they learned in 12 hours. They could speak, they could translate, right? They could actually know how to do everything. And I was real excited when I started getting text messages in Spanish. Wow, was that a rush? Anyway, the whole idea is conversation. We do verbs and we do nouns and we do idioms. We don't do rote conjugations. We do a lot of speaking because it's amazing what you can do when you have a few words. You can actually speak. But in college and high school, sometimes you didn't get a chance to do that. But we'll do get a chance to do that. And it's very informal, though. I'm a very traditional teacher. Non-traditional teacher, I should say. So we'll have a lot of fun with all the activities. And tomorrow at 10 o'clock, you need to get right on that computer because the class is limited to 30, and I have a feeling it'll move fast. The people who are my Maymester class, are they here? Raise your hands. We had a few people that were there. Okay, and I think they will be filling it up. So we look forward to seeing you, and have a wonderful day. Que tengan un buen día. Hasta luego.
There's a lot of people here. I'm used to speaking like 120 medical students. It's a lot of people. Well, I'm Dr. Parsley. I'm from the College of Medicine. The class I'm teaching is called Genetics, the Wave of the Present and the Future, and its impact on your family's medical care, whether it be your own or your children. So we'll explore, in the past 15 years, they unraveled the human genome and figured out that we have about as many genes as a mouse, right? So that's 25,000. And we'll talk about how certain genes can code for proteins. Proteins have jobs within your body, and how those changes in those genes can impact your health or your family's health down the line. Within that, we'll also kind of start out with a tour of the med school on the first class. The first class is actually at the College of Medicine in room 1302 from 9 to 11 on October 23rd. And we'll do a tour, and at that time we'll kind of explore the importance of family history and how you can look at your family history to see what predispositions may be in your family. And then the next two classes will actually be at the Pepper Center in room 214, and those classes will look at genetics across the lifespan, from newborn screening to prenatal genetics to cancer predispositions, the genetics of dementia, and we'll kind of go through that as we go. The last class that we're going to do will actually involve a little further explanation of the genes that we've learned about at today's level of scientific knowledge, and also explore kind of the ethical issues that we get with these variants that we don't know what to do with sometimes. And so we can also figure out why, when you had babies, everything that your kids did bad was your spouse's fault. I use that all the time. Anyway, that concludes that, and I hope you'll join our class. Thank you.
I'm Rabbi Jack Romberg of Temple Israel, and I'd like to begin by asking everybody a question, and the Jews in the room are not allowed to answer. Why is it that Jews always answer a question with a question? Why not? The name of my course is Judaism While Standing on One Foot, and yes, in the first session I will give you the answer as to why I chose that as the title for the course. The course will be held at Temple Israel, which is a great advantage. You don't have to deal with the parking nonsense that I had to deal with earlier today. We have plenty of parking, easy access, so please, if for no other reason, come to Temple Israel to take the course because it's so easy. Judaism is probably very, very misunderstood, not just by Christians in America, but by Jews in America. As an example, you probably would be shocked to hear that the Judaism that we practice today is not the Judaism of the Hebrew Bible, but something very different. Our course will explore exactly what is the Judaism that we practice today, and let me give you the topics for each of the class sessions. First session will be the Jewish lens. What does it really mean to be called Jewish? What are some basic Jewish views and perspectives? Second session will be on Jewish time, covering what is our calendar. Why is it that the holidays seem to come out at a different time every year, thus confusing the school calendar schedule? We'll study the Jewish holidays in that session. The third session will be on the Torah. And since we'll be at Temple Israel, we'll be able to use the sanctuary. You'll be able to see an actual Torah scroll. The fourth session will be on God and prayer. The fifth session on life cycles, that is everything from how we celebrate birth to how we notify death and how we observe death. And that will include a discussion on Jewish views of the afterlife. And then the final session will be on Jewish community and Israel. That is, how is the Jewish community set up for today? I look forward to seeing you.
Hi, I'm Ernie Rader. The course will be a hard-boiled fiction and noir film in the U.S., the early stages of it. It will be at the Pepper Center, 214, Monday, 11:30. In popular literature, crime fiction or mystery, as it's also called, is the second most popular genre or type of reading after romance, about which I know nothing. A certain type of crime fiction and the films it inspired reveal a disturbing and chaotic world. These types are now called commonly noir, from French black, maybe registering better in English as dark, which maybe captures the mood a bit better. Noir may reflect the criminal's viewpoint, or more commonly, the detective's, although the line between the two viewpoints is often blurred. The detective now, today, comes in all shapes and sizes: male, female, gay, African American, Native American, Cajun, fishing guides, animal lovers, drug addicts, priests, and of course, forensic pathologists. They're from all parts of the country. Every big city has at least one big detective. Florida has plenty. And detectives are all around the world: Mexico, Argentina, Spain, the UK, France, Germany, Netherlands, Russia. In Russia, the female detective and the female crime writer reign supreme. Even nice countries and nice places like Scandinavia have detectives solving ghastly crimes. And going further south and east around the globe, they're also everywhere from Turkey through India and on to Japan, all over the place. Why do they keep spreading, and where'd they all come from? I don't know exactly, but in this class we will examine some of their ancestors in hard-boiled fiction and films from California in the 1930s and 40s, featuring tough detectives like Sam Spade and Philip Marlowe, predatory women and their quarry, men on the wrong side of the law. The books are short and snappy, and the films are famous. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Danny Pietrodangelo. I'll be teaching digital photography. It meets on Mondays at 11:30 here at the Turnbull Center. I have a long association with FSU. As a matter of fact, I was student body president, and I like to say it was after the discovery of penicillin and before Al Gore invented the internet. I want everybody to take 3 seconds and look at the ceiling or at the walls. Come on, look, 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 look. Ceiling or the walls? Hold your view. Okay, what do you see? You see light, okay? You see different values of light. You see different colors. You see different intensities of light. That's what photography is all about. Photography is about using light, manipulating light, directing light. And that's what we're going to talk about in the course. In the course, we're going to start out with the history of photography and actually looking at photographs. And we'll start looking at some of the classic photographers. Then we'll take a look at the contemporary camera, digital cameras, and that mysterious menu that they all have. Then we're going to get into very specific areas of landscape photography, photographing people, photographing little people, photographing animals. And every class you're going to have homework. So get used to it. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take pictures. And then you're going to have to bring those pictures into class, and then you're going to have to volunteer to share those pictures so we can tear them apart. It's just great fun for me. So I look forward to seeing as many of you as possible. Oh, one final thing. I don't care if you're shooting with a smart camera or a $4,000 Nikon, okay? It's open to everybody because all the principles are basically the same. Thank you.
Hi, I'm back. I'm here to introduce Dr. Vince Mickelson's class, America and Vietnam, which is a class I pushed hard for because it's such a fascinating subject to me. Everybody in this room, our age and significantly younger, was dramatically affected by the war in Vietnam. Some of us fought it in the streets, and a few of us fought it in the jungle. A few of our members actually did fight in Vietnam. But anyway, it's going to be a great class. Dr. Mickelson is a dynamic young professor, visiting professor in the FSU History Department. I checked his reviews from students, and he gets rave reviews. They say he's a dynamic teacher, and he's very good at teaching what he does. His specialties are violence and the 60s, which pretty much covers Vietnam. I will give you the topics of each class to help, I hope, whet your interest in this class. And they are, week 1, history of conflict in Vietnam. Week 2, Western intervention. Week 3, from the quagmire into hell. Week 4, the mirage of progress and the Tet Offensive. Week 5, fighting the war, combat and dissent at home. And 6, the fall of Vietnam. I think it's going to be a great class, and I hope a lot of you will join me. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Del Campo. My class is creatively titled The Music of Your Youth, U.S. Popular Music Through 1970. We did a little bit of a similar course last semester and decided by the time we got to punk rock, we had some members losing a little bit of interest. So we're focusing a little bit on the 1920s through the 1960s. This course is going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, it's similar to a course we had last semester. We're going to have discussions, listen to a lot of music, watch documentaries, and watch video performances. We're going to spend a lot of time, like I said, on the 1920s through the 1960s, but we'll also go back and look at some of the popular musics in the 19th century, tracing their influence into this century, well, last century, I guess now, to musics that we'll get into more in depth. Some topics that we'll cover include minstrelsy, vaudeville, ragtime, Tin Pan Alley, jazz, swing, rhythm and blues, country western, Broadway, as well as early rock and roll, roughly through the Beatles. We have a lot of great musical opportunities on campus, and I feel that it is one of my duties to inform you of all of these events, including tomorrow and Thursday. We have a Chilean music ensemble. I picked them up from the airport last night. They're giving 2 free concerts, one tomorrow in Opperman Music Hall at 8 p.m., and one over at Mission San Luis on Thursday at 7 p.m. These are both free if you have the opportunity. If you're interested, it'll be really great. So that's my plug for this today. It's always a wonderful opportunity for me to discuss music with people, and I can assure you that I will learn as much by going to this class from you as you will from me. I'm excited to learn with you, so hope to see many of you in a few weeks. Thanks.
Good afternoon. Truman Capote's last book begins with the epigraph, "More tears were shed over answered prayers than unanswered prayers." I'm going to try to make sure when you join me for this class to study the books of Truman Capote and Carson McCullers, all your prayers are going to be answered with humor and laughter. Even though the course is called The Short Novels of Carson McCullers and Truman Capote, Humor and Horror in the South. It's mostly going to be humor, even in their darker books we're going to look at. I think we're going to have a great time with both these writers. We'll look at some of their shorter novels, more novella-length projects that they wrote there in the 20th century. I'm Michael Trammell. I teach professional writing here at Florida State, but I have a passion for literature. I have an academic background in 20th century U.S. and British lit, so my third year teaching a U.S. lit class here for OLLI. So it's always a fun experience. The novels are going to be short, but very, for the most part, funny, a little dark in some ways. We're going to read Truman Capote's Breakfast at Tiffany's, which, you remember the film with George Peppard. And we'll probably watch some clips from that to kind of accent some of the things in there. And I think it's recently been a new Broadway play as well. We'll probably look at it as a little bit darker, The Grass Harp, but we're going to pull some humor out of that. And we're going to look at Carson McCullers' A Member of the Wedding, which is also a very funny film and play, as well as her slightly darker Reflections in a Golden Eye. So I hope you guys will join me. We'll look at different issues related to the Southern Gothic, regionalism, even maybe touching segregation issues like that. But it'll be fun overall, so I hope I'll see you guys. It'll be Tuesdays, I think 9 to 11, over here at the Pepper Center, room 214. So thanks very much.
Hi, my name is Chris Livaday, and I'm filling in today for Dina Ramsey, who teaches both technology and genealogy classes for OLLI. She's out of town in Texas, but will be back. You will notice that her name is spelled like it was Deanna, but it's actually pronounced Dina, so you have a heads up when you get in her class. She's going to be teaching Genealogy Geek, the new generation of genealogists, and become iPad savvy in 6 weeks. And the genealogy class is actually what brought me to OLLI when I joined 2 years ago. Dina is an 8th generation Floridian, and she holds a degree in computer programming and has 19 years experience in classroom training and courseware development. She has presented at local and state genealogy conferences, as well as family associations and lineage societies. And when you take her class, you'll learn what a lineage society is. She, in 2003, combined her 8-year career as a trainer with her lifelong passion for family history and started teaching courses in genealogy software as well as how to get started. She's formerly served as vice president of the board of directors of both the state and Tallahassee genealogical societies, and she has been an instructor for approximately 5 years with OLLI. She's teaching 2 classes. The first one, Become iPad Savvy in 6 weeks, is being offered on Tuesday from noon to 2, beginning October 1st, in Meeting Room B of the McGuire Center at Westminster Oaks. There is a maximum class size of 30, and these classes usually fill up quickly. Bring your iPad, including your USB dock connector charger, along with your iTunes password and your login. If you thought the iPad worked just for your phone, you don't need training. Now you can figure out how to actually use your iPad and do its magic, because it is different from your phone. This class will help you become more familiar with the iPad and learn how to use it. It will cover how to adjust your settings, download an app, iMessage a friend, take a photograph, charge the battery. Dina will discuss syncing and whether you want to use your computer or the mysterious cloud. She'll even explain what the mysterious cloud is. Then, becoming iPad savvy, you will know just what you're doing. Also, Dina always provides some great refresher tips and reminders in emailed documents. I still consult mine from time to time because for some reason I have trouble remembering things. Also, Dina is going to be teaching the new generation of genealogists. It starts on October 2nd. She'll be teaching Wednesdays from 2 to 4 in the lower level computer lab at the McGuire Center at Westminster Oaks with a class maximum of 10. So if you're interested in this class, you need to sign up quickly. It requires that you already have intermediate computer skills so you won't slow the class down, and you have to bring a flash drive to the class. You'll be navigating the internet as you develop a research plan, learn how to keep track of your research findings, how to use various websites to aid in your search, and how to use a virtual library. Again, the classes fill up quickly, so we encourage you to sign up early tomorrow. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Tobias Mostel. I teach Opera Appreciation 1 Continued. We're always continuing. It's always Opera Appreciation 1. We always start in the middle. There being no beginning and no end to opera. It's Monday nights from 7 o'clock till 9 o'clock in the Broad Auditorium at the Pepper Center. The Broad Auditorium is well named for opera because those opera singers have a certain amplitude which is appropriate at the Broad Auditorium. This semester we will be comparing two operas, Madama Butterfly by Puccini and Pagliacci by Leoncavallo. The interesting thing is that we have creator recordings for both operas. We will be able to hear what the original singers sounded like. We will be able to listen to people who studied those roles with Leoncavallo and with Puccini, and I guarantee that you will have an excellent time and that you'll enjoy the opera if you don't already. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Tim White. I'm an architect and a professor of architecture. For the last 6 years, I've had the joy and opportunity of teaching in the Florida State Study Abroad program in Florence, Italy. And my course is called Florence and its Piazzas. This course is a course that I actually teach there, so what's happening here with OLLI is a compression of that course. And the course is basically looking at the city through an architect's eyes, primarily things like the shaping forces, why the town is laid out the way it is, the politics, the economics, the military, the cultural, the geographic shaping forces of the overall town. And then what we'll do is we'll focus on the piazzas, primarily 9 of the main piazzas that are in the town, which are the main squares where the primary important architecture is. And then we'll focus on those in terms of the architecture, the uses of the piazzas, their role in the town, their different missions in the life of the town, and how the Italians use those spaces. So I'm hoping you'll come to Florence with us. Thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yasu, dobar dan. My name is Alex Nešić. I work at the Center for Global Engagement here at FSU, and I do a lot of cross-cultural training and teaching with Dr. Metcalf.
And I'm Lee Metcalf. I'm the director of the International Affairs Program at Florida State, and I also lead a summer program for international programs to Dubrovnik, Croatia, every summer.
So our joint class this semester will be exploring Greece and the Balkans, a traveler's guide. And we heard that there is a OLLI trip scheduled sometime in the next summer.
Spring.
Or spring semester. So we hope to take you on this journey before you go on the journey. Our class is going to be starting on October 2nd. So I have the first 3 weeks. I'll be talking about Greece, October 2nd, 9th, and 16th. In Greece, we will be looking at history, because Greek history is important, as if you do end up going to Greece, you will hear just how much of Greek history everyone always talks about, even though right now we're just learning that Greece is in an economic downturn, so going to Greece will definitely boost some economy, and so we'll be looking at what are the great places to visit, what to eat, hopefully exploring some of the hands-on baklava or spanikopita making in the class. I know ladies probably interested in this. And going through the process of how to appreciate and understand the influences that Greek culture has had on the world. Thank you.
And I will be covering Montenegro and Croatia, parts of the former Yugoslavia. And we will first talk a little bit about the history of that region, because it is different and it's more related to the Habsburg Empire than to the Ottoman Empire, as is the case with Greece. And so we will do history first, and then we'll look at the excursions that are associated with the cruise. and talk about what you can expect to see and do on the excursions. And then we'll talk about my absolute favorite things, which are what to eat and what to buy. So I am a premier shopper. So that's what we're planning for you.
Thank you very much.
I'm Carrie Maddox from the College of Medicine, and as Deb mentioned earlier, the College of Medicine is presenting 2 classes, and Kristen Parsley told you about the second of the 2, clinical genetics and personalized medicine. And my class is the first 3 weeks, so it's October 2nd, 9th, and the 16th on Wednesdays from 9 to 11 at Westminster Oaks. And my class is on women in science, and this is something that's been batted around by a number of different OLLI members and myself at a couple of the earlier College of Medicine classes that I coordinated. And so we're doing it this semester. And so then the thought was, well, what are you going to do? Who are you going to talk about? Who are you going to include? And so I decided to start talking about sort of the here and now and let you guys know some really very prestigious scientists that are at Florida State University. And so this will be a team talk class, and it's divided up into 3 different themes for the 3 different weeks. The first one is going to be about career path and trajectory of women scientists. And I'm going to present one of the 2 hours of that, as well as I'm going to have a graduate student speak on the second hour. The second 2-hour session is going to be on what particular tools we're using to address some of the disparities of women in the fields, women in science field. And so I'm going to invite Roxanne Hughes from the Mag Lab, and she's going to talk about a summer program she runs for middle school students. For girls in middle school, and also Susan Blessing from the physics department, and she's going to talk about the program she runs called Whimsy. And the last 2-hour class, which will be October 16th, I think, is that right? Yes. Dr. Myra Hurt from the College of Medicine, sometimes referred to as the mother of the College of Medicine, will come, as will Kathy Levinson from the neuroscience program. And so 3 weeks, and join us if you can. Thanks.
Good afternoon. My name is Walter Chinkle, a.k.a. the Ant-Man, and this is an aluminum cast of an ant nest. I've been a professor at Florida State for 43 years, prying into the secrets of the lives of ants, and I've learned a thing or two about them. I published a book called The Fire Ants, which was nominated for a Pulitzer Prize, only to be shunted aside carelessly for some book about Iraq War or something boring like that. My course is offered on midday Wednesdays and is titled The Parallel Universe of Ants. And with that cute title, I want to contrast the familiar human social organization with the very different social organization of ants. Human societies are hierarchical. They are fluid at all scales, from countries to country clubs. They are assorted into cooperative and competitive groups by choice and by bloodlines in ways that we all recognize. Ant societies, in contrast, have an entirely different basis. At its simplest, an ant colony is a family composed of a mother who mated with a single male who died immediately after mating. The mother then produced a hierarchy-less family consisting of dozens to millions of more or less sterile workers, more or less sterile daughters called workers. Natural selection acts on this organism-like colony, and it's the colony that reproduces itself. Ants have diversified into an astounding array of different life habits and lifestyles. They're obviously, and we have many of these, in fact, all of these represented in the Tallahassee area, over 100 species. In short, ants are very, very important, not to mention interesting. In this course, I'll demonstrate using images, live colonies, and optional field trips, the varied and amazing life histories and habits of ants with emphasis on local species. I will not only share what is known, but how we know it, because this leads to a deeper appreciation of science in all its glory, with warts and blemishes and all. Above all, I hope to share with you the sense of wonder regarding these amazing and charming creatures. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Ken Hemmerly, and I'm a home winemaker and an OLLI member. My course is Home Winemaking. Let's get started. This beginning 6-hour course is for those with no winemaking experience. It meets October 6, 13, and 20 in room 214 at the Pepper Center. I've taught this course locally, but this is my first opportunity to teach it through OLLI. I began making wine as a personal challenge and continued making it to improve my craft. But for me, the part I really love is sharing it with family and friends. I've shared my wine at outdoor music concerts, sit-down dinners, tailgate parties, and local barbecues. And we even enjoyed it at a Passover Seder. By following simple instructions, you can make really good wine. You will find that making wine is fun and rewarding. Ask yourself these questions. Have you ever wondered if you could make wine? Want to learn how it's made? Are you interested in making really good wine for $2 to $5 per bottle? We're talking wine that could cost $10 to $20 at the store. Not sure about how to get started in winemaking? Then this class is for you. This class will encourage best practices in crafting your wine. It will recommend your use of wine kits. That's how most beginning winemakers learn basic skills and techniques as they acquire experience. The kits contain varietal grape juice along with all the necessary additives. You can choose reds or whites grown from grapes in recognized wine regions around the world. And great juice can make great wine. Knowledge and skills from this class you can use when you decide to make wine from local fruit, fresh grapes, or varietal grape juice. Winemaking presents many new opportunities for you to learn, to share, and to enjoy life to the fullest. So come join us, and let's get started. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ursula Morgan. I'm excited to share another OLLI course with you. I teach humanities at TCC, and this time it's going to be about the Socratic method, based on Socrates' assumption that wisdom begins in wonder. And we're going to wonder about a lot of assumptions throughout the time using the teachings of various philosophers. The first week we started with Aristotle's concept of happiness, and it's based on his assumption that if we live the good life, we avoid emotional excess, we will automatically be happy. Then we skip forward 2,000 years to René Descartes, and he talks about doubting everything except the one fact is that we are thinking beings. And the famous expression, cogito ergo sum, comes in mind, I think, therefore I am. But we're going to look at other ways of defining our essence as human beings. We move over to another Frenchman, Blaise Pascal, a very gifted philosopher, but also mathematician and physicist, who says we approach theological questions with the heart, not the mind. He's less analytical than Descartes. He said it's the heart that senses God, not the mind. Ultimately, he proposes a wager, and he says there is no conclusive evidence that God exists or he doesn't exist. Therefore, let's live a life as if he did. And if he does, we've gained everything. If he doesn't, we've lost nothing. Week 4, we turn to the Germans. Immanuel Kant, who asks the questions, what do I know? What can I do? What can I hope for? And challenges us with a categorical imperative that says, live your life in such a way that your morals can become the standard for everybody else. The golden rule comes to mind. Another German follows, Friedrich Nietzsche. We associate him with the provocative statement, God is dead, we have killed him. But we're going to look at his concept of the Übermensch, the overman, in order to transcend our limitations of being part of the herd mentality so that we can finally become what we're truly capable of being. We end up with French existentialism, Jean-Paul Sartre, who wrote in Being and Nothingness that we are totally responsible for what we do. He says that man is condemned to be free, but once he's thrown in the world, he's responsible for everything he does. I'm anticipating a group of inquisitive thinkers who like provocative discussions. Thank you very much. It's at TCC Wednesdays from 2 to 4.
Well, here we are again. This three-week course, second half of the 6 weeks term, Wednesdays from 11:30 to 1:30 midday in 214 Pepper, grew out of the Conrad course led in the spring term when several members of the class came up and said, Bruce, who else can we read whose native language is Russian but published in English? And we all agreed, Nabokov. So we're doing Lolita. That's the novel the group requested that we explore, and I think 3 weeks will be plenty. We're going to do a lot in this class, look at Nabokov sources, look at cuts from the two major Lolita film versions, 62 and 97, Jeremy Irons, more recently, James Mason, Peter Sellers in the earlier one. We'll see how the films change the novel and enhance it in many ways. I'll have a guard at the door, so we'll be safe during the class. This is not a novel, it's a novel about sex, but it's not a sex novel. It's a literary novel. It's a novel of literary gamesmanship, and that's my subtitle. I'll send everybody a reader's guide. If you've had classes with me before, you know I like to do this. It'll be multiple pages long, and I'll print it for you if you don't have a printer at home. But the major source for this novel is Poe, Edgar Allan Poe, playful and serious. Then we've got Joyce as a source, T.S. Eliot, Herman Melville. My guy Melville is part of this book too. So we're going to look at all the cross-referentiality, all the games that Nabokov plays in this text. A couple of good additions, I've got them with me. If you're interested, I'll show them to you after the class presentation here. But I can promise a good time. This is finally a darkly film noir comic novel, but it is a comic novel. And it's a piece of work and a piece of play. If you like tennis and chess, you're going to love this book.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Richard Mashburn, Jr., Associate Pastor at Bethel Missionary Baptist Church. I'm also a regular Army Colonel, retired, 2 tours of duty in Vietnam, Tet Offensive 67, 68, 71, 72. 1960 graduate of Florida A&M University, recipient of Woodrow Wilson Fellowship in History. My course will be entitled The 50-Year Legacy of Civil Rights in the USA, 1963 to 2013, which most of us lived through. We won't need many AVAs. The context of this effort, though, will be framed by the affirmation or the reaffirmation that this is my country, the land of my birth, this is my country, grandest on earth. This is my country, land of my choice. This is my country, hear my proud voice. Although we will focus on the year 1963 and all of the tremendous changes that year wrought, we will also look at a timeline of 100-year epochs, beginning with the year 1463, continuing to 1963, followed by a projection to 2063, which most of us will not see. We will also examine our progress from 1963 to 2013 of attaining the democratic ideals espoused in the Declaration of Independence, the preamble to the Constitution, and our national mottos. Such a course obviously requires a look at the intervening stages of forward movement, which include a succession of civil rights from 1896 to the present, amendments to the Constitution, and challenges to the most recent laws that were passed in 1963, 64, and 65. We will meet every Thursday in October, the first Thursday in November. We will also visit the Black Archives on Florida A&M University's campus, and also the John G. Riley House, downtown Tallahassee. Please join us. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Glenn Marsh-Allen, and I write mystery novels. I've written 9, 8 of which are in a series set right here in North Florida. The 7th in that series managed to win the Florida Book Award in 2009. The title of my course is It's the Elements, My Dear Watson. So from the title, you may know it has something to do with mystery writing, and that's what the course is all about. If you've ever wanted to write a mystery and you need to know what the elements are that you need in it, perhaps you've already written one or part of one and you want to refine it, this is a workshop type of course where you bring your paper and pen and you will be writing, short span writing, and then we will be critiquing it orally. I've taught this class several times in short form, and this time it's a 6-week course. Every Thursday there are 2 classes, one in the morning at the Pepper Center and one in the afternoon at Westminster Oaks. I hope that if you have a crime that you've ever wanted to commit, or perhaps a person you ever wanted to murder, that you will join us and learn how to do it without going to jail. So it's a lot of fun, and I hope you will join us. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Gary Stillwell. I'm going to be teaching a course on cosmology, primarily. It's cosmic evolution, 9 turning points. I've had the pleasure of teaching 4 courses in this organization so far. Almost all of them were on religion. This one is on science. There are questions that human beings have been asking for millennia, such as, where did we come from, where are we now, and where are we going? Well, every culture and society has answered these questions to their own satisfaction on their own terms. And that works really well as long as that society believes and thinks alike. Unfortunately, in today's world, we have a mixture of societies where you have people from all backgrounds and beliefs coming together. And some of those creative stories that they came up with to answer these questions no longer seem to fit the bill. We have a method now that addresses that problem. It's called science. Scientists everywhere believe the same truths. Truths that are established by observation and testing until a consensus is reached on a universally accepted theory. This course will discuss those theories by looking at science behind the key turning points in the evolution of the entire cosmos. We'll be starting off with physics and chemistry and going all the way through anthropology and sociology, and then we'll finish by attempting to understand our possible fate in the far and near future. We'll look at a lot of science here, but this is not strictly a science class. It is rather an opportunity to define and explore 3 concepts that tie the universe all together: evolution, emergence, and complexity, by looking into deep time, space, and history. Thank you, and I hope to see you at the class.
Hello, everyone. My name is Madeline Carr. I'm a historian. I'll be teaching a course that this time is called Snippets of History from the Forgotten Coast. The other day, I was reading through some material for the course, and I came across an article from 1984 in the Jacksonville Times-Union about Spring Creek. Time had passed that community of 60 people by, the reporter found. Yet just earlier, a year earlier, the New York Times sent a reporter to the 10th smallest Florida county. He saw signs of progress and claimed that Wakulla County was one of the last bastions of the old, unspoiled Florida, in contrast to the concrete jungles of Panama City and Dade County. Back in the 1980s, the area south of Tallahassee, I was just asked where Wakulla County was, so for you, those of you who don't know, the area south of Tallahassee between the capital and the coast, and west to Apalachicola was the last frontier. Some of you remember the sportsman's paradise that lured hunters and fishers to Wakulla County. Then something happened in the 1990s. and the last frontier was forgotten. The forgotten coast was born. For me, these artifacts, you probably have wondered why there's a stirrup up here, why there's an old spoon. Someone said I could get a lot of iron if I used it. An old bottle and an old lock. These artifacts come from my own backyard in Wakulla County. Some are ancient, some are only 180 or so years old. They pose more questions than they provide answers. Nobody has the answers to all of the complexities of that forgotten coast. What I am proposing is that you join me in this exploration along with authors and other people who can illuminate some of those long forgotten things. You will hear about cannibals, ghost towns, cantankerous men and women and soothsayers, including some sheriffs. People who grunt for worms, people who seine for fish. You will hear about sinkhole murders, pirate attacks, and deserters who could not figure out how the whole war between the states or that civil war had anything to do with them or their families. I hope you'll join me on Thursdays at 1:30 at Westminster Oaks for snippets of history from the forgotten coast. By the way, they're still waiting for things to happen economically along the forgotten coast. Thank you.
I don't really know how to follow that. I'm not going to talk about cannibals or pirates. And I'm the last presenter, so I'll keep it short and sweet like a tweet because we're talking about social media. My workshop will be all about Facebook, setting up your own personal account, figuring out how you can connect with family, friends, and also with the OLLI page to stay connected. Just for reference, I'm Sarah Howard. I'm the social media coordinator for university communications here on campus. I handle all of the university's official social media accounts and assist in consulting departments and organizations on campus like OLLI. My classes are Thursday, October 3rd at Westminster Oaks from 2:30 to 4:30, and on Wednesday, October 9th at the Pepper Center from 9 to 11 a.m. So I hope you'll join us and that you'll like the workshop. So, thanks.